Hello guys, it's me, Red the Epic Dinosaur, and today in Forza Horizon 5 with the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, one of the new vehicles for this update that you can just get for 20 points on the playlist this week. So let's start with the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. With the look, you can see that a lot of inspiration from the Hyundai Envision 74, especially in the front lights and tail lights. That is kind of the same taillights and front lights. That's all I want to say. It's an SUV. I was surprised. I always thought this was more of an electric hot hatch. That I think is a huge potential there. Even when there is a slowdown on electric vehicles, but I think there is a lot of potential. I think Hyundai was like, okay, he's doing basically hot hatch, electric hot hatch. That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, this is an SUV from all the things, even on the game. So I'm not a big fan of them. And well, this being an SUV, I don't know. Like, we gotta discuss performance later, but if you pick me a Kona N and this thing, I will prefer the Kona. Because in my opinion, when the Kona N is a nice looking car, and I like the dimensions. That is like a bit of a crossover. On this, I'm not sure. So, but again, that's me. Also a huge maze of playground games. This car has like 3 modes that you can just switch the sound. Like one that is very futuristic, one that sounds like a jet fighter, another like a sports car made by Hyundai, and they didn't include that. I think that will actually be a better sales point than just being a performance electric vehicle, but you know, it is what it is. So let's talk about performance. Okay, hold on. Before we continue, yes, Red the Epic Dinosaur of the future here, I had to do all the performance testing again. I don't know why. I was checking the bots of the other test, and I was having a lot of issues with the oversteer. I don't know why. Maybe it was something of my tuning setup, and the car was basically having this middle point of having a lot of oversteer and a lot of understeer. It sounds crazy, I know, but yeah, it was something of the tuning setup. I was retesting this vehicle again when I was actually editing the video, and I got different results. So I'm just gonna show those here for the sake of honesty and not to have a different interpretation or just spreading a lie on the worst case scenario. So I just prefer to just redo it again and basically make it better, and at the same time just make a pilot for future testing of vehicles. So what we have here is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N against the Aston Martin DBX 707 and the Porsche Cayenne. We have 3 tiers of vehicles on the same class with the same performance points. One is a festival car that you can get only for the playlist, that is the Hyundai. We have a deluxe car from the car pass, that is the Aston Martin, and a car that everyone can get right now, that is the Porsche Cayenne. So first we got the circuit testing, and well, quite cool results. You can see that the acceleration of the Aston Martin and the Porsche is quite superior of the Hyundai. Is something surprising, especially for me, because the electric vehicles usually have better results in acceleration. Actually accelerate pretty fast. You can get a really red line pretty easy with these cars. But on this is kind of like different. In this one, like, the acceleration is way slower than even an ICE car, in this case the Aston Martin and the Porsche. More responsiveness on the Porsche and the Aston Martin as well, because they are lighter cars. They are not electric vehicles. On the Hyundai, you kind of struggle and kind of see that it takes corners wider, and it suffers a bit more of understeer on these areas. So yeah, the car is kind of struggling more, and the Porsche and the Aston Martin kind of feel a bit better, more comfortable in cornering than the Hyundai. But still, the Hyundai kind of does a very good job keeping on pace with these 2 cars. And well, even when it's slower than these 2, it still kind of gets the job done. So not bad, but it's still a pretty inferior vehicle than the Porsche and the Aston Martin. So time to go to the kind of top speed, more testing on the acceleration, more focus on that acceleration top speed. We went to basically do a test drive on a sprint in Dunas Verdes, and yeah, well, we have that the Hyundai kind of has a limited top speed of 232 kilometers per hour. Well, I'm lying. It's 250, 260. Not bad. I wanted to basically focus more on the acceleration of this car, and it's still not there. And surprisingly enough, the ICE cars go again. Not for the superior top speed, but more for, again, the handling. They feel more comfortable. The car is still struggles a lot with handling, and this is like the key point of the Hyundai. The car is just extremely heavy and suffers a lot on even the two areas that are acceleration and top speed due to the heaviness of the car. When you compare it to the Aston Martin, and especially on the Porsche that did a masterclass on this, like the handling was incredibly superior, and with the top speed and the acceleration is just a magnificent car. On the Aston Martin, it's kind of like the kind of sits on bit of a heavy car, but at the same time compensates it a lot with power, even when it sits on the same level of the Hyundai. The Hyundai goes to 650 horsepower, and the Aston Martin goes to 670. So it's just a difference of 20 horsepower. But here you can see that that since the Aston Martin is way lighter, the Hyundai is struggling way more, and it's just how heavy is this car just basically compromises a lot of the performance of this vehicle. So yeah, I wanted to show you this, how the Hyundai Ioniq 5N is not so inferior, but it's not exactly good, especially on its class A800. I don't know if in S1 is gonna be better, especially with the upgrades of the engine, and that you can actually swap the engine to a Rimac engine that has like 1,800 horsepower. That is crazy. But I don't know exactly why. I don't go further to those areas. I prefer A800. But yeah, the pretty inferior car, especially compared to other vehicles. I don't know exactly, because the Trackhawk is way superior as SUV than even the Porsche and the Aston Martin, so I didn't even went further to that. But that's pretty much the results I wanted to give you right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think of the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, if you like it, if you not. But yeah, we have these electric vehicles that I don't know. I don't mind them, but at the same time, I kind of feel that that Playground Games is pushing more electric vehicles, and even when there is a big portion of the community that is not liking them too much. But you know, that's the discussion for today. I leave it to you. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.